This is leading and tracking. So if you double highlight it, double click it, highlight it or whatever, and then you go to the layers of the text. So if I go to happy, and then I go to Windows and character, you'll see right here, the one that says A, that's leading, that's tracking. There is another one called kerning. Vertical kerning right here. That sets the between the two characters, and this one called leading is the paragraph. So setting the space right here. So you have to match, like let's say for example, joy, this one's 40, and this one right here, kerning, whatever number it is. So this one's 40, and then happy is 40 also. So once they match up, then you're good. So those two. So if I were to change it, I would double click it, highlight it, then I go here and say 60, and then it has more space. So this one is called leading. This one is the space in between the characters. Let me see what happens if I change it. I say I put joy, it's more separated. I put here metrics. Well, it's not giving the number, but that's the idea, is character, and then you have these that you have to set, and you have these two different that you have to match, that they look the same, okay, with whatever they're asking you to do, okay. Make sure that when you're in the move tool and you select something, like let's say you select the shape, you need to move the shape by clicking and dragging it. And then you center it, let's say, okay, that you have this thing called show transform controls is a check mark. If you don't have a check mark and you click, it's not going to let you control it. So make sure you have that checked off during the test, okay. Red, green, and blue, changing the color mode. If you notice, when you start a file, you go to image, and then mode, you have two different color modes. You have red, green, and blue, and CMYK. CMYK is for printing things, and red, green, and blue is for when you do things for online or for websites and so forth. So it's not like if you're gonna print. If you're not gonna print, you do it in red, green, and blue. If you're gonna print, then you do CMYK. Okay, so that's how you change it. If you're gonna create a new file new, and then you go to print, and if it says do tabloid, then you do tabloid, but then you have to change this right here to landscape. This is landscape right here, okay? And then the color mode, whatever they say. If they say you're gonna print something, then change it to CMYK. If you're doing it for the web, then leave it on red, green, and blue. Press create. It makes a new file. Okay, the guides and the rulers. These are your guides, right? This is your ruler right here. If you don't see your ruler, you gotta go to view and then check the ruler. If the ruler is checked, you have your ruler here. Then what you do is, if you're gonna drag guides out, you click and you drag, and you could drag your horizontal and your vertical, okay? All right, now, if you're gonna make guides that you need to have in certain places exactly where they tell you, then you gotta go to view, guides, and then new guide, okay? And then you just put the vertical, the color, and then horizontal, you redo it again, okay? And it sets up your guides, okay? So if I were to put one at, let's say I have it at 10 inches, you put 10, you press OK, boom, and it pops up, okay? If you're gonna change the way the color looks, or if it's gonna be dashed or anything like that, then you have to go to your preferences, which is Command K, or over here, and you go to your settings, and then you have all your different settings right here of how you want something to look like. Okay, so if you want to go to units and guides, then you could change things here. You could change the file handling is here. So if you go to settings, file handling, and then you could change things to save. So you click here or here, and then you change it to, it saves automatically every so often at a certain time. Okay. If I'm going to edit something, like if I'm missing a space up here at the top, or let's take off the guides really quick, clear the guides. So if you look, if you have like a blotch or a missing piece, go to your lasso tool, which is here. You have your lasso tool here, boom, and then circle everything, even outside, right? And if I'm gonna match it, then you gotta go to edit, fill. Well, you gotta be at the layer you need to be at. So edit, fill, and then it has to say content aware, preserve transparency, press OK. And it'll get rid of like missing pieces of artwork, blotches, things like that that you need to fix. Delete people off of your screen, off of your artboard. Make sure that you're on the correct artboard. Then press over here. Okay. Selecting areas that are all flattened out on one layer. So if I want to select the flower and duplicate it, then just go, you have options over here. Quick selection tool or the magic wand. Magic wand is for solid areas. Quick selection is for more complex areas. And object selection selects objects. It might do it for you, it might not, so you test. So I'm gonna just use this one. Make sure your settings is to plus, because you're gonna add on there, and that you have your brush, okay? And then it starts, you click and drag, it selects the area, you go to edit, copy, and then edit, paste, which you put paste special because you want it to paste in the same place. Paste special, boom. And if you go back to the move tool, you'll notice it's another object in a separate layer, okay? You can modify and expand selections. So if I want to modify these black selections and expand them, you go back to, let's use the magic wand tool now. Make sure everything here is clicked on. That's good. 64 or 32 is fine. You click, hold down shift, and click on the other ones to select multiple. Then now you could go to select, modify, and expand, and you tell it to expand by whatever you want. Let's put 50 pixels or whatever it says. You see how it expanded? Now you can go to the paint bucket tool, which is the gradient by default, but you go to paint bucket, hold down, you go to paint bucket, and you can fill in the spots, okay? And it fills in the pieces, so you've expanded, okay? This bar that's popping up right here, don't use it during the test, but you can take it off from here, okay? From Windows. These are all your panels. Shapes, making a shape, all right? So you have to make a rectangle during the test. You could click and drag, right? Make a shape, change the shape over here in your properties. The appearance panel will pop up over here. Let's move this down a little bit. Here you could change the corners, the fill, the stroke, okay? Or you could click, so let's change the fill right here to black. Let's change the stroke to white. FFF, that's okay. The stroke size. Okay, where to go? The line that you need, you could put the number. Let's put 25 or whatever. You could see that, and then you could put the if this is at 0, lock it. Put it at 0, right? So, but if you need to make a curve, you could click here and drag these guys until the number pops out that you need, or you change it here in their appearance. So this panel appearance is, you know, from your, well, it'll pop up on your panel here. If your Windows is on Essentials, Make sure it's on essentials and on certification test. Okay, so you could also, if you're on here and you just make one click, it opens up the options to make the width and the height, right? And then the corners, how you want the corners. If you don't want from center, take it off. Okay, so you could create your rectangle by clicking once anywhere on the screen, right? And then when you need to center this, go to the move tool and you move it to the center and it'll line it up for you. Okay? Want to delete it, just select it, press delete, right? So this these are your adjustment panels, but right here, these property panels pop up when you're using it. I think it's on 2024 those, but it could be the same. Copyright status is file info. Okay, so file info is file info, and here you could change the copyright status, right? And then the document, the author right here. Okay, file info. View guides, new, edit, transform, magic wand. Let me see, select areas, modify stuff, CMYK, expand. Okay, and then, you know, remember that if you want to group things together or transform something, well, let's say you want to transform this number right here is this layer right here. You go to edit, transform, and you have different options. If I want to flip it vertical or horizontal, I'll say flip horizontal, boom, and it flips it. Okay, if you want to go back, let's press Command Z, right? And then also you could press help during the test. If you don't know how to flip something horizontal and you write the word flip, it'll take you to where you need to go. Okay? So that's a way how to get things from your menu, right? So just practice that later. Anything else I gotta show you here? Transform controls. Yeah, that looks okay. All right, so it's basically it. Let's see here. Selecting. Use Shift to select multiple. One. Say I want to select this and this, and then you down here have your options to create a new group, delete a layer, add a new layer, fills. This is your blending options right here. So let's say, for example, I'm on this layer and I want to blend it with something below it. You go to blending and it'll blend, you know, with whatever you decide to choose. Say you pick exclusion, right? You can't see anything happening there. Soft light is the only one that works with the purple and the black, I guess. And overlay is doing something. Dissolve makes it grainy. Okay? Later.